This show is brought to you by Podetize, podcast hosting and done-for-you production services that get you heard by more of your ideal listeners. Visit podetize.com to book a free strategy call. That's PODETIZE.com.
Welcome to Care More, Be Better, a podcast for people like you who care about the social impact of conscious companies and everyday heroes. Hear inspiring stories from those who put people and planet before profit and personal gain. You'll learn how you can make a difference, vote with your dollars, and get involved today. Here's your host, Karina Belizzi.
Hello, fellow do-gooders and friends. I'm your host, Karina Belizzi, an activist and cause marketer who's passionate about social impact and sustainability. So passionate that I even created a 5-step activist guide to help unleash your inner activist. All you have to do is go to caremorebebetter.com and sign up for our newsletter. It will be your welcome gift in your inbox moments later. Today, we're going to talk about doing more good with your money as you shop for everyday items, clothing, and even jewelry, as we meet our guest, Molly Trerotola of Shopping Gives. Molly is a dedicated social impact leader who builds strategic partnerships, products, and programs for good. Her experience spans technology, digital fundraising, and corporate social responsibility. She is currently head of social impact at Shopping Gives, and this is an e-commerce platform that creates purposeful and profitable relationships between brands and nonprofits. Her work has even been featured in Forbes, Chronicle of Philanthropy, and NPC. Molly, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it's really great to have you here. You know, I'm just so passionate about trying to do good, even when you shop for everyday items. So it's really a fun topic. But looking over your LinkedIn, I learned a little bit more about you. You have worked with some pretty big companies to build their cause partnerships, including the drug company Pfizer, who I think everyone knows now due to, well, the COVID vaccine, right?
Mhm.
And even PayPal. You've collaborated with some really impactful not-for-profits like the Malala Fund, Refugees International, and Do Something. It's all awesome experience, and I want to know more about it. But I also learned that you shared on your LinkedIn page that you're into salsa. You're a salsa dancer. So
Yes, I
I'd just
am.
love to know, how are you keeping this salsa dancing up now in the streets of Brooklyn or wherever?
Okay, well, transparently, I'm not. It's like the least COVID-friendly activity. So
I'm picturing you with like a sequined mask and, doing the whole thing.
yeah, it's definitely taken a back seat in the last couple of years, but it was a huge part of my life. Before the pandemic, I was on a salsa team in Brooklyn for about 4 years, and I
Wow.
actually got my foray into salsa started when I was living in Lima, Peru, working for a global health nonprofit, which was also my first foray into the social impact world. So it coincided nicely.
Yeah, I figured there had to be some connection.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
it's really nice to learn that. I actually learned to do a bit of salsa dancing when I was in college and used to go. There was like a church in downtown Santa Cruz that would host salsa a couple nights a week, and you'd go and just, pick a partner and dance. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, and I bet it was the most fun. Yeah. It's a really wonderful activity. And especially in New York, there's this great subculture of Latin dance where you end up running into the same people. And it's just such a rich
Mhm.
part of the city.
Yeah. So I'd love to learn what set you on this path and why you're so focused now on shopping as a fundraising tool for impact.
Yeah, so I got my start in social impact actually working for a nonprofit in South America. I was helping manage their fundraising communications to generate more support for the organization. And then I segued into corporate social responsibility, calling back to what you referenced with Pfizer. So, helping to manage their nonprofit partnerships and digital campaigns, specifically around their advancement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And
Mhm.
that experience really opened my eyes to the positive impact that companies can have on driving change and social causes forward. But I really wanted to go back to supporting nonprofits directly. And that's where I got my start in tech for good. I helped launch a philanthropist funded fundraising platform called Give Lively, which is now supporting I think, maybe 15 to 20,000 nonprofits. but I quickly learned the technological challenges that nonprofits face, especially when it comes to fundraising, and the immense opportunity that companies can play in helping diversify nonprofits' fundraising revenue and work with organizations creatively to support their mission critical work. And that leads me to where I am today as head of social impact at Shopping Gives, which is harnessing the power of e-commerce and applying it to nonprofit fundraising, creating really unique and valuable connections between brands and nonprofits, capitalizing off of our existing consumer behavior to support nonprofits in a really meaningful way.
Wow. Well, I did spend a bit of time poking around Shopping Gives just to get a feel. I was really surprised to see certain really well-known and high-end brands. I don't know why I was surprised, just because I don't really associate Coach as a, for example, with social impact. And I don't
Oh,
necessarily
interesting.
associate Steve Madden, let's say, with social impact. I think some of these high-end brands, like it isn't front and center for them and what they have been doing. And maybe perhaps that is changing. But I did see some other brands that I expected to see, like Dr. Bronner's. I mean, they are just through and through very focused on impact, or Almond Cow, because again, like, it's replacing dairy with an almond milk that you can make at home. So I was curious to know, how does this company vet brands, or how do you design the social programs? Because overall, I mean, there's probably 20 that I was able to review on your site, something in that ballpark, but, not a
Mhm.
ton. So I was hoping you could tell me a little bit more about how you select the brands that you will work with, what kinds of criteria they have to meet, so that if shoppers go there, they get some sort of a purview into the level of the bar that you're holding up for them, so to speak.
Yeah, of course. Well, your observation brings up a really unique element about our technology, which is that it can service brands of all shapes and sizes, from single run Shopify stores like mom and pop shops, all the way up to a luxury multi-billion dollar brand like Coach, who, you might not off the bat associate with social impact, but that's a testament to why they're using our technology in the first place.
Hmm.
It's to embed social impact more closely within their e-commerce journey and afford their customers the opportunity to really engage in their social impact programs. We are fortunate to work with over 2,000 retailers, again, of all shapes and sizes. And what we like to say about our giving economy, our brand community, is they're all purpose driven in some way or another. Whether it's from having a social impact lean within their business in general, like Dr. Bronner's, or B corporations that you might associate with social impact more obviously, to companies who are just getting their feet wet in philanthropy and are leveraging our technology as a useful resource to do so, having the ability to donate to any of the 1.8 million 501c3s in our database. So our tech really helps brands embed that social impact more closely into their business model.
Hmm. Well, cool. So you mentioned something like 2,000 brands, but again, I only saw, I don't know, a couple dozen on your site. So how do people really find out who you're working with?
We do feature a snapshot of our brand partners on our website, but we're primarily a B2B e-commerce platform. In the future, we might have a brand marketplace that's customer facing, where customers can view brands that use our technology, and specifically the ones that let their customers choose which nonprofits to give to. At this time, we don't have that all-encompassing marketplace, but if customers were curious to see what premier brands are in our giving economy, they can of course see that snapshot on our website.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. I did also poke around looking at the not-for-profits. My father-in-law has a not-for-profit called the Corneal Dystrophy Foundation. I did see that it was listed there. So it seems like a fairly comprehensive list.
Yeah, it is. So actually, in our database, we have all 1.8 million 501c3, so US registered nonprofits that are in good standing with the IRS in our database. And our intention there is to really democratize philanthropy. So give all of the brands who are using our tech the opportunity to donate to any nonprofit that they're passionate about. But then also, if they let their customers choose who to donate to, encompass any nonprofit that their customers might feel passionately about, whether that be UNICEF or Feeding America, very well-known organizations, or the soup kitchen down the road in their hometown.
Very cool. Now, I've featured a couple of not for profits that are somewhat similar to your model in the past in early episodes of Care More Be Better. One of them was Masami Sato's Buy One, Give One or B1G1.com, where they match companies to appropriate not for profits and then give 100% of the donation actually goes to the not for profit. So, can you tell me a little bit about how your tech works? So, just my audience can hear a little bit more about what makes it unique.
Yeah, I think the best comparison for our technology, while it has a much higher monetary impact, is the Amazon Smile model, where individuals make purchase, and as part of their purchase, the brand they're buying from makes a donation, a percentage of that product purchase to either a nonprofit of the brand's choosing or a nonprofit of the customer's choosing. So it's a portion of that product purchase. And these are micro donations that add up to be a really significant source of funding for nonprofits over time. So it's unlike an individual making a one-time donation to a nonprofit on their website. Individuals, when they shop at brands who use our technology, can make these micro impacts, and brands who have already committed this funding can really involve their customers in the social impact journey that they're creating. Our tech really allows brands and nonprofits to customize the giving strategy based on what they want to do. So they can donate a percentage per purchase, a set dollar amount. Brands can create what we call a capsule collection, which is a collection of products that are dedicated to a specific nonprofit. So if you can imagine all purple products on a website going to the Alzheimer's Association, or all pink products going to Susan G. Komen, that's something brands can really do to engage their customers in a unique way. And then also they can ask their customers to further support the effort by adding an add-on donation or a roundup donation to that additional contribution. So, we see our technology in the philanthropy side of corporate social responsibility, where brands might be dedicating this money to nonprofits anyways. And by integrating with our technology, they're really involving customers in the process. And then they also have an opportunity to see what philanthropy preferences their customers have if they let customers choose. So a brand could really learn a lot about their customer base. Like, oh, we see that customers of this age are more likely to give to environmental causes, or they're really supportive of women empowerment or international aid. And it will help these brands better direct their CSR efforts in the future.
Oh, that's very cool. Now, just perusing the causes, I saw Outright Action International had been paid out thus far $235,000 using your platform.
Yeah.
Is that the largest contribution thus far? Because it shows up first and then it looks like it's in a declining level. So I was just kind of curious about that and also enthused to see the transparency. So,
Yeah, it's certainly one of the largest grants we've made to nonprofits. So the way it works is our brand partners actually donate directly to the Shopping Gives Foundation, which is a US registered charity, and then the Shopping Gives Foundation will grant those funds to the nonprofit that the brand pledged the money to. A lot of the times those larger donations are actually from existing partnerships that nonprofits have with brand partners. So that one, just because Outright International is one of the highest earning nonprofits on our platform, it doesn't mean that all of the brands are supporting Outright International, although they should. It's a wonderful organization. It might just mean that they have a specific partnership with a brand that is giving them a higher amount. But, other high earning organizations include UNICEF and Feeding America and Mental Health Coalition, because they're highly supported by Kenneth Cole.
yeah, I mean, it was actually a little bit of discovery for me too, because I wasn't aware of all of these. I have done programs in the past with Feeding America, as for example. I have also worked in collaboration with the Surfrider Foundation and typically organize beach cleanups here each September in collaboration with Surfrider Foundation. So there were a couple I was very familiar with, and then some I hadn't heard of before. So it was really kind of nice to go through that early set and think about who I might want to even bring on this podcast to talk about the things that they're doing too. So one of my favorites really is the Vitamin Angels, and I didn't get a chance to actually search for them in your database. Are you familiar with them?
Yes, I am. I actually just had a call with them last month.
Yeah, so Howard Schiffer and Vitamin Angels, I mean, they have already essentially ended nutrition related infant blindness. So now their new goal is to end nutrition related infant mortality, which is also a tall ask, but something that they think they can do in the next 20 years, which is incredible. So, I mean, I've known Howard Schiffer for years and years, and the work he's doing there is just so thoughtful and so seated in just this real, true, raw need to do good. All of the people that work there with him at the office in Santa Barbara are just, I'm big fans of their work. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And it's those individual stories that inspires the foundation of Shop and Gives. Of course, our technology is built to scale to support the 1.8 million nonprofits of all sizes and brands of all sizes, but it's those individual human interest stories. When we hear about the impact our technology is helping nonprofits make, that's what keeps us going.
Yeah. Well, they've done some very big alliances with retailers like Walgreens. I think the Walgreens Boots Alliance is still their biggest contributor. But I've participated over the years in my early career with Nordic Naturals and then with Super Nutrition, which is now a Now Foods company, and also just personally donated to them many times over the years. I am part of the Belizzi Women's Foundation, which each year we nominate a charity to donate our surplus funds to, which is typically the rider on that is that it has to go to a charity that benefits women and children. So Vitamin Angels fits that bill pretty nicely. I've selected a
Yeah.
couple others since, but typically, each year it's $500 to $1,000 going to these incredible charities. And each year the fund grows a little bit and we continue to pay it forward. That's just the way
Oh,
it
that's
goes.
wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds like a great initiative.
Fantastic. So, is there anything in particular that you want to highlight, like a story of impact that you've seen come to play specifically through the work of Shopping Gives, or just in your past careers, a story that you'd like to tell?
Something we're working on at Shopping Gives that it's really exciting to me personally, but also feeds into this larger CSR trend is fundraising opportunities for brands. So we're in a really critical time right now, which at Shopping Gives we like to call the Great Retail Reset, where in the last couple of years, brands have really had a reckoning and understanding that philanthropy, social impact is no longer a nice to have. It's a requirement for the company to be successful. Of course, we would hope that brands give back out of the kindness of their heart, but if it also supports their bottom line, then all the better. And now it's a requirement. So we are seeing a significant uptick in brands not only coming to us wanting to use the technology, but also looking for guidance in what causes to give back to. And we saw this incredible opportunity to create fundraising milestones and opportunities that really galvanize the brand community. So we've recently launched what we're calling brand coalitions that either support a single nonprofit or a handful of organizations around a certain cause area that brands can kind of latch onto and help get behind. These opportunities really allow brands to come together and pool their efforts and join a larger movement instead of having their social impact be siloed or like heavily distributed and not really focused on a single organization or a single cause area. So it's been a really inspiring and great opportunity to help drive the social impact of our brand partners. And we're really looking to scale these efforts in the future, having more direct partnerships with nonprofits and creating these campaigns that brands can fundraise around. So I think that's both like a looking back, what has been exciting about the last year, and then looking forward, what we're enthusiastic about.
Very cool. I'm curious if there's any question that I haven't asked that you wish I had. And if not, if there is a particular thought that you'd like to leave our audience with.
I'll just say a lot of brands want to know how to get started. They think there's a perfect time to launch social impact initiatives, or they have to really get their footing before they can focus their efforts on doing good. And my answer is there is no good time. The best time is now to
Mhm.
get started on social impact, not only because it's good for your business and it's good for the world, but companies have this responsibility to leverage their products and resources and supply chains to do good. the corporate world really has to step up to the plate and help drive social causes forward. And it doesn't matter the size of your brand or the resources you have, the capital, it doesn't, any size of company can start doing good and really embed it into their business model. So there's no good time. The good time is now.
Well, you did mention too the ability to round up and just have that small amount go into something, or even allowing the consumer the choice of which charity that they were giving to with their purchase. So I think all of those things make it more manageable. That's very good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at this point, I would like to just thank you, Molly, for coming on the show. This has been incredibly informative. And for anybody who is watching this on YouTube, I will encourage you to go ahead and stay tuned after the close, because we are going to do a deep dive into the Shopping Gives website. If you're listening to this podcast on any platform, you can go to our YouTube page, which is simply youtube.com/c/caremorebebetter, or just click on the link in show notes. As always, I'll be sure to include items like this that we discussed in the show in show notes. Now it's time for that simple ask. I'd love it if all of you would share this episode and our website with your friends. It's through sharing the stories, the thoughtful stories, and in-depth discussions like this one with Molly today that we can all seek to build a better world, and one in which your shopping dollars can actually do more good. Together, we can create the future we want. And I encourage you all to visit our action page on caremorebebetter.com. There you will get ideas and causes that we'd like you to support. Lean into discovery, stay curious, ask questions, and get involved. Thank you, listeners, now and always, for being a part of this pod and this community, because together we really can do so much more. We can care more, and we can be better. We can even regenerate Earth. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Care More, Be Better, a podcast for social good. To make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share with your friends to help us reach more people and spread more social good.
This show is brought to you by Podetize, podcast hosting and done-for-you production services that get you heard by more of your ideal listeners. Visit podetize.com to book a free strategy call. That's PODETIZE.com.